So we finally have some castings for the brand new Harry Potter TV show. We know who's playing Rubeus Hagrid, Albus Dumbledore, Minerva McGonagall, Argus Filch, Quirinus Quirrell, and Severus Snape. There are some castings that I love, and some that I'm a bit worried about. I've already voiced some of my opinions on other platforms, mainly X, or I guess Twitter, but I'm going to go into much more detail here. I'm going to give my thoughts on each casting, and I'm also going to do an in-depth analysis and breakdown of each actor and actress and all of their credits before this series, and that includes Paapa Essiedu. I feel like his acting career has barely been looked at with all of the controversy surrounding his casting. I'm gonna shine some light on things that I haven't really seen people talking about, and honestly, it's the important stuff. And as we go through all of this, I'm also gonna throw in some Harry Potter knowledge as needed. I'm sure many of you might have no idea who some of these people are or what they've done in their career leading up to this, but don't fret because you will know everything you need to know about them by the time this video is over. If you enjoy this video, please consider liking and sharing. It will greatly help to grow and sustain the channel. And if you like what you see, hit that subscribe button, and you can also follow me on all of my other social medias, all of which are linked down below, and all of which house similar content that I make here on this channel. Now, let's get into it. I've already said everything I need to say about my problems with Paapa Essiedu playing Severus Snape, and I was happy to see such a respectful response to what I think was a respectful analysis. I went into much more detail in a dedicated video, which I'll link down below for you guys to watch after you finish watching this video. Putting that aside though, let's look at Paapa Essiedu's actual acting skills and his career. His talent shines when he was in Hamlet, and I'm not gonna lie, his performance was absolutely captivating.
You would pluck out the heart of my mystery. You would sound me from my lowest note to the top of my compass. And there was much music. Excellent voice in this little organ, and yet cannot you make it speak? Blood! Do you think I'm easier to be preyed upon than a pipe?
The Lazarus Project was another notable credit, a show that my wife and I watched together and really enjoyed. And funnily enough, he plays a character that will do whatever it takes to protect the love of his life.
What are two clips that give off the same energy?
Would you end the world to save the woman you love?
Every time.
After all this time? Always.
Looking at his role in the film The Outrun, which was a movie that actually really resonated with me being in recovery myself. In this movie, we see the opposite side of his acting than the other two roles I mentioned. It's much slower, much more intimate, and demonstrates how he can develop connections with the actors around him.
We're so used to seeing that just through the lens of the person that's going through it, but it's something that affects the person, the relationship, the friendships, the families. It echoes outwards, you know, and I wanted to portray or embody or exist in that space between those two characters.
And one of the most enthralling parts of this role is that many of his scenes and much of his dialogue was all improvised.
I was a huge fan of Paapa Essiedu anyway, as everybody is. Again, it was a lot of improv, so if you don't have that chemistry with someone, it shows, and we really did.
It truly shows his natural ability to act and also how he connects with the people sharing the scene with him, something he will be asked to do a lot while playing Snape. As I said in my video, I have an open mind, and I am going to give him a legitimate chance to play Snape. Because honestly, he is an incredible actor, which I feel like not many people are talking about. Quirinus Quirrell will be played by Thallon, who is the only actor that I knew nothing about, and that makes sense because he's pretty much unknown. He doesn't have many credits, but I looked at one of the few he does, which was a live play called Present Laughter.
Shout, shout, you're magnificent when you're angry!
From what I saw, he seems like a good actor, but to be honest, there's such a small sample size that I can't really give any opinions on him playing Quirrell. What I will say though is he definitely displays the emotion the character will need. It will be interesting to see how he plays the stuttering part of Quirrell though.
I'd no idea you were like this, you're wonderful.
Rubeus Hagrid will be played by Nick Frost. I think Frost is the perfect casting, a 10 out of 10. It will be almost impossible to replace Robbie Coltrane, but I think they set themselves up to do about as good a job as possible. He just fits the part so well. The only thing is, he stands at 5 feet and 7 inches, while Hagrid is meant to be 11 feet and 6 inches. The movies were able to make him 8 feet, but Robbie Coltrane was 6'1". But I imagine for the show, they're once again going to try to aim for that 8 feet. But because Nick Frost is only 5'7", it might be a little challenging to make him look big. But there are all sorts of camera tricks you can do, not to mention CGI and body doubles. And body doubles were actually something they used for Robbie Coltrane. Looking at his acting though, Frost's part in Size Them shows us that he definitely has the look, and his performance in that movie just screams Hagrid right down to the accent.
I was born in a bin. When we were little, we couldn't afford clothes, so we made our own out of nettles.
I love a dragon.
A dragon, then?
Vastly misunderstood beasts, Harry.
Yet they're not real.
Cough.
Get out of my house.
His part in The World's End shows he can be a brutal force too, which is another thing that Hagrid needs from time to time, especially when defending Dumbledore or taking on 5 Aurors plus Umbridge, which is a scene that I really hope they add in this new show. And the same goes for his role in the newer Star Wars show Skeleton Crew, which again shows just how scary he can be when needed.
Killed any of his crew that saw the coordinates to in. Slaughtered them, he did.
However, it's his roles in Cuban Fury and Paul that really shows his gentle and caring side. In Cuban Fury, he plays a sort of insecure man who's not entirely comfortable in his body. Sound familiar? And in the movie Paul, we see him protect and care for an alien named, you guessed it, Paul, which again shows a gentle side he can portray. So yeah, I think this is the perfect casting. I'm really excited about this one, despite the fact that he's 5'7", but I think there are ways to work around that. Moving on to Paul Whitehouse, who is playing Argus Filch. Funnily enough, he was actually in the Harry Potter films, playing the knight Sir Cadogan, but his scenes got cut from the final film.
Who dares challenge Sir Cadogan? Back, you scurvy braggarts! You roar!
Whitehouse has done a lot of voiceover work, which can show off his madness like in Alice in Wonderland.
You're all late for tea!
And that's a quality that I think Filch has to have at times. He can be pretty unhinged. He was also good in the film Death of Stalin, which is the main credit that I had known him for. That movie had an all-star cast, including Jason Isaacs, who played Lucius Malfoy in the films. Whitehouse was also good in King of Thieves, which funnily enough starred Michael Gambon, who played Dumbledore, as well as the actor that played Horace Slughorn. Whitehouse hasn't had many major roles, mostly playing side characters, but that's pretty much what he'll be in the new series. Janet McTeer is playing Minerva McGonagall. Replacing the late Maggie Smith is an almighty task, but I think this is another really good casting. She was actually announced to play this role when the role of Snape was announced, but unfortunately she got overshadowed with all of the controversy about a black Snape. For McGonagall, I'm glad they went with somebody younger, which is more book accurate. I think going with someone younger will also silence comparisons between McTeer and Maggie Smith, which the comparisons are obviously inevitable, but it should give McTeer some breathing room. Looking at her work as an actress, the first thing I thought of was her role in The Menu, which actually stars Ralph Fiennes, aka Lord Voldemort. She played a very wealthy and confident woman, the confidence element aligning with McGonagall very well.
Fiendish, really. I mean, he's always been keenly aware of food as a history of class. I mean, as have I.
Sure.
I then remembered her in the film The Black Woman, which actually stars Daniel Radcliffe, aka the original Harry. It's crazy how many connections these new actors have to the old actors. I think it's good though, because the old actors are some of the best, so if these new actors are working with them, it means that they're on the same level. But anyway, I actually went to see The Woman in Black solely because of Daniel Radcliffe being fresh off the movies just ending. But I remember walking away being very impressed with McTeer. She really showed how versatile she was in this role. Her role in the movie Tumbleweed is what really stood out to me though. This was a role that got her nominated for Best Actress at the Oscars that year, and that says a lot. In that movie, she showed off a nurturing and motherly side to her, which McGonagall will of course need. So I'm confident that she'll have that part of the role in her pocket as well. Another big trait of Minerva McGonagall though is being commanding. This is one of the things that got me the most excited for this casting, because McTeer has a very commanding presence. This is on full display when she played Helen Pierce in Ozark, playing a very strong and very fearless woman.
Enough! Get out!
And it doesn't hurt that she stands at 6'1", giving her an even more authoritative presence that McGonagall is so known for. And finally, we have John Lithgow playing Albus Dumbledore. I've actually posted several takes that I have on this casting on X or Twitter. I think Lithgow is an amazing actor. I loved him in Conclave this past year, starring alongside Ralph Fiennes, who again played Lord Voldemort in the movie. It will certainly be weird that Dumbledore will have the same voice as Lord Farquaad.
Some of you may die, but it's a sacrifice I am willing to make.
In all seriousness though, I do think he could make an incredible Dumbledore. We've seen it in The Crown where he conveyed everything Dumbledore embodies.
Sometimes we have sunshine. Too much sunshine, and they call it a drought. Then we have rain. Too much rain, and they call it a deluge, and find a way to blame us for that, too. It's an act of God, Bobbity. It's weather.
And while he has that strength and intimidation that Dumbledore has, he also has the ability to be soft-spoken and calm, which is another big part of Dumbledore's character, and something that, let's be honest, Michael Gambon did not excel in.
Parrot, you put your name in a goblet of fire.
When I found out Lithgow hadn't read any of the books before being cast, I got a little nervous. However, he definitely has the intellect and experience to be able to study the books and really find Dumbledore's character before filming starts. I think last I heard, he was almost done the Chamber of Secrets. And while all of that is great, I do have one very major problem with this casting, and that is his age. He is 79 years old right now, and he will probably be 80 years old by the time they start filming. Lithgow was quoted saying that he'd be 87 when the series wrapped. First of all, Lithgow thinking that he'll be 87 when the series ends is very unrealistic. It will probably take closer to 10 years like the films, if not more given how much more they're shooting, especially when working with children due to child labor laws and schooling. Not to mention because most of the kids will be inexperienced, just like the kids from the films.
I remember saying action, and half of the kids started performing. The other half of the kids are staring into space. We had to stop, and I said, you know, action means we start shooting. And I thought to myself, oh my, this is the beginning of a very long shoot.
The average film takes about 3 months to shoot, but the first Harry Potter movie took 6 months, twice as long as a normal movie. If it takes 10 plus years, Lithgow will be 90 plus years old by the time it wraps. And let's be honest, that's getting up there. Richard Harris, of course, passed away before the third movie even began, and he was 70 years old when cast, close to 10 years younger than Lithgow. I wholeheartedly hope that he will make it to the end of the series, but there is another major problem. If he does make it through, Dumbledore has to be much more agile and powerful in the later installments, which, given his age, Lithgow realistically won't be able to do. And those commanding scenes are some of the most important scenes for Dumbledore's entire character. So he might not make it, and even if he does, he might not be able to give Dumbledore justice in the later movies. I hope I'm wrong though, I really do, because as I said, and as I showed earlier, Lithgow is an amazing choice for Dumbledore. I really hope that history will not repeat itself. With that being said, it might have been a good idea to get a younger Dumbledore and use makeup to make him look older. What's done is done though, and I'm excited to see what Lithgow does with the character. And the same goes for all of the other actors and all of the characters they're playing. But yeah, that's a breakdown of all of the actors, their careers, and what we can expect from their roles in the new series. Comment below and let me know your thoughts on all of this. I'm very excited to hear your opinions. That's all for today though. Thanks so much for watching.